My younger sister, 19, has come to live with me, male, 25, during her summer vacation from college. As our parents live overseas, I've sort of been tasked with looking out for her. However, I try not to be overly protective and aim to be a cool older brother rather than a helicopter parent. After all, she is an adult. My sister told our parents that she planned on hanging out with her friends for a few days and that they wouldn't leave our city. Our parents thought it would be perfectly fine and agreed to it. The problem started when my sister told me that she actually planned to go camping with some of her friends, female 19, female 20 and female 20. I was cool with it and asked her to keep her cell phone on her so she could call me if needed. She said that she and her friends planned on leaving behind all technology as they wanted the fullest experience. I thought this was a bad idea and strongly recommended that at least one of them keep a phone, to which my sister responded they'd think about it. The day before the planned trip, my sister said they'd be joined by several more people, some of whom she described as a little sketchy. I told her that was a bad idea and that she and her friends should consider uninviting anyone they thought was sketchy. I also insisted that she take her phone. My sister flat out refused all this and said I was being too controlling. I got annoyed and said that she wasn't going on that trip if she wasn't willing to compromise. She started yelling at me and called our parents, telling them that I was preventing her from seeing her friends. I told them how she planned on going camping with sketchy people, and my parents also refused to let her go. After the call ended, my sister started yelling at me again, saying I was annihilating her social life. Am I the idiot? You're not wrong for being concerned about your sister. I always have my cell phone with me when I leave the house in case of an emergency. However, you are the idiot for thinking you can forbid or prevent your adult sister from doing what she wants. It's even funnier your parents think they can when they live overseas. What's the plan? To lock her in a room with armed guards who will tackle her if she tries to leave? Sister is 19. 19-year-olds often do not have money. They do not have apartments. They often don't have jobs or vehicles. Neither do their friends. Sis may also be a college student and her parents may be paying. She might like that to continue. Their money, their rules. Fully expect to see the sad story of Sis's disappearance on an investigation discovery show someday. Really terrible decision-making skills, even for a 19-year-old. Hope he's not the idiot. I agree, my wife and I are experienced campers. We like disconnecting. We would be idiots to leave our phones completely at home. What if someone got hurt and needed emergency help? She could get lost in the woods, trip and twist her ankle, cut herself with a knife, burn herself, get food poisoning and be attacked by a wild animal. All situations where she could need evacuation. No phone, no trip, period. Absolutely all of this. I've backpacked over 2,000 miles continuously. It was one of the most unplugged I've ever been. Carried a phone and GPS satellite device for real emergencies, if necessary, the whole time. Don't screw around with the wilderness. Update number 1. Am I the idiot for banning my younger sister from camping? My sis and her friends were supposed to head out last night. However, sis never went. This morning, my sis told me that 2 of her friends who planned to go cancelled also. This was because some guy in his 40s who they'd never met somehow inserted himself into a group of people going. Apparently, he was invited by someone. This man wanted to be the group's leader and planned to go somewhere more remote than initially agreed upon. He then told my sis's friends that he would hold on to everyone's cell phone so that they could all get the most out of the trip and technology wouldn't interfere. My sis agrees that it was a little creepy, but still says I'm an idiot for snitching to mom and dad, even though she was the one who called in the first place. My sister is still dependent financially on our parents, and myself to an extent. However, I never once used this to leverage my argument. Regardless of whatever bad decision she may make or fight she may have with our parents, my door is always open to her. As of now, I'm sort of hiding in my room as my sister is still furious with me. I'll try talking to her once she cools down. Holy moly, that update took a turn. The biggest red flag is reading the update about the random 40-year-old man wanting to go to an even more remote location and hold everyone's phones. This story took a turn from sketchy to heck no real fast. I'm glad some of her friends had the sense to nope out. Sounds like a potentially dangerous situation. Yeah, it was bad enough not taking a cell in general in case someone got hurt, but that update, it screams something horrible is going to happen. I'm an adult and I share my location with my mom when I'm out adventuring, just so someone knows roughly where I am if something happens. I still text her when I get home from a party or date. Nice to know someone's looking out for me, even though she lives in a different state. I'm glad you were looking out for her. Yeah, Little sister needs to start watching some true crime videos. ASAP. A 40-year-old inserting himself into a group of 19-year-old girls with no cell phones in the middle of nowhere? I'm sure the shovels and lime in his car are legit and the guns are to protect them from bears. OP, your sister is being entirely juvenile for even being upset with you. I hope this is a memory she eventually grows to cringe at. Update number 2. Am I the idiot for banning my younger sister from camping? I spoke with my sis and she apologised. She fully agreed that the whole thing became too sketchy. She told me that had she gone, she too would have cancelled like her 2 friends when she heard what Creepo had to say. I asked my sis about the friend that agreed to go and she too cancelled after Creepo insisted that she and her boyfriend give him their phones. Creepo then kicked them out of his car and they ended up Ubering back to town. She told me she's afraid as Creepo has been calling some of her friends and she's scared he'll call her. I told her to give me her phone if he calls and I'll speak with him. I do work in a police department, not a cop though, so I'm sure he'll screw the heck off once I speak with him. Thanks for your advice. When I, 32 male, met my girlfriend 29 7 years ago, I learned she had custody of her little sister, Laura, tween, since she was 20 years old. I've always been very accepting of her. She's an incredible little girl and I love her very much. My girlfriend and I have 2 kids, a female kindergartner and male toddler, and I've recently planned a trip to my parents with them to spend some father-kids time and also for my parents to spend some grandparents-grandchild's time. My girlfriend was fine with it until I told her I wasn't taking Laura. She asked why and I answered that I wanted to spend alone time with our kids. My parents were very excited to meet their grandson and thought this was the perfect opportunity. After that, a heated conversation ensued, but my girlfriend eventually dropped it. I told my parents about my plans and they're not happy about it either, saying that it's unfair to exclude Laura from the trip. But I'm currently struggling to see how it's unfair to want some alone time with my children and for my parents to see their grandchildren. I was hoping I could get some others' perspectives. Am I the idiot? Edit, Laura was a toddler when my girlfriend gained custody of her. My girlfriend said she is not coming either. Laura won't be staying alone. You got the other perspective from your parents. They made it clear Laura should be included. They're not worried about alone time with the grandkids. Why are you? This should be a non-issue if you love Laura the way you claim to. You are the idiot. If you want a future with your girlfriend and the bio kids, you better adjust your thinking regarding your girlfriend's oldest child, because that's what Laura is. Yeah, Laura isn't someone visiting your home for a couple of weeks. She's a child that your girlfriend is parenting. You've been in this child's life for 7 years and don't see an issue with leaving her behind for this visit. You are the problem in this situation, and I wonder how you treat her in the home. My only hope is that if OP goes through with this awful plan, Laura and his girlfriend changes the locks while he's away. OP, you are such an idiot that you've even stunned your own parents with your dietary way of thinking. Kudos to you. Just know this decision will blow up your family. For your information, this includes Laura, in case you forgot. Next time you have such a firm view on biological-only rules, maybe don't date a woman with a child and play a pretend fatherly role to her whole childhood. Laura, your girlfriend, and your biological kids deserve better than you. My mom and stepdad had to go to see my grandparents because of some emergency, so it was just me, 19 female, and my twin siblings, pre-tween male and female. I'd planned on inviting 2 friends and my parents said I still could, so they came. One of my friends brought her boyfriend, Mike. I usually don't mind, the more the merrier, but I'm not a fan of him. He's kind of an idiot and blames it on his autism, but I don't know, I'm not really educated on all that. Anyways, my sister was playing in their playroom, but my brother was bored and wanted attention. He's really into having abs and muscles and being strong right now, and he does gymnastics and all that, so he was doing cartwheels and stuff till he got a little dizzy. He sat on my lap and started showing me his arms, and asked if his muscles had gotten bigger. He's young, so he still has little arms, but I said, OMG, they're totally getting bigger. Mike randomly interrupted to go, Nah man, you got noodle arms. My brother didn't really catch what he said, so he just brushed him off, but I was upset. So I discreetly told him to stop. But Mike was all like, What, I'm just telling the truth, he has to do much more than that to get some real muscles, noodle arm kid. I reminded him my brother is young, but he said his age is irrelevant here. My brother then decided to show us another gymnastics move. I think it's a round off, but he did it and we all clapped for him, except of course Mike. He went, That was anticlimactic. He continued, No offence, but this is the most unimpressive kid ever. Get out of here with your skinny butt. I was honestly so angry at this point that I sarcastically said, I'd like to see your fat butt try to do what he did. He immediately got upset and his girlfriend gasped like I said something outrageous. Where was her horror when her boyfriend was insulting my kid brother? But Mike got all up in my face about being a witch before leaving. His girlfriend told me that I went too far, especially since I know he has autism, and that she can't believe I fat-shamed him when he isn't even that fat. Besides, he isn't wrong, and your brother's annoying. My other friend was there, told me she thought he was rude, but I did too much. Am I the idiot? Nope, not the idiot at all. Good on you for defending your brother from that bully. Signed, an autistic person who knows autism is not a free pass to be an idiot without consequences. Also, your friend who's dating Mike is not being a good friend to you right now. I'd suggest distancing yourself from her. You deserve better friends. Me too, although I'm high-functioning. There are thoughts you think and then there are the things you say. I can be too direct as well, but I put in the effort to not be an idiot and hold my tongue, especially towards children, even though I don't like to be around them. This Mike is weaponizing his autism as a free pass to be an idiot. People like him give us all a bad name. Funny how he's autistic enough to not understand how he's being a bully to a kid, but as soon as you throw it back at him, he's immediately offended and eager to call you a witch. Ha ha ha. This isn't his autism, he's using that as an umbrella to avoid all consequences that would follow from being a total idiot. If any of my friends said anything like that to my brother, I would promptly remove them from the premises and let them know they were never invited near me or my family again. Calling a kid noodle arms isn't honest, it's mean. Most kids have slender limbs, they're literally growing. What kid have you seen that actually has bodybuilder muscles? They can't do that because that would stunt their growth. So I recently adopted a wonderful sweetie of a shelter cat named Millie. That's the name the shelter gave her. I thought it suited her and she responded to it, so I didn't change it. The other week, my pregnant cousin Carrie, who I'm moderately close to, posted a list of potential baby names on her social media, and Millie was on the list. I commented to remind her of my cat's name and she DM'd me to ask me to change Millie's name because she and her fiancé really liked that name for their daughter. I refused because my cat had her name first and Carrie called me selfish for valuing a stupid cat over her daughter. I told her that my cat is not stupid and that I wouldn't mind if her baby shared a name with my cat, but if it was an issue for her, she could choose a different name. She again called me selfish and said she had to go. I was conflicted, so I went to my sister, a mother herself, so I hoped she'd offer some perspective, and she said that she understood where I was coming from, but the baby should come before pets. She said it would be really kind of me to change my cat's name, and that she knows how important a couple's dream name is. He called her to make sure it was okay and asked if she preferred the dog had a different name, and she was like, "Why? My name is awesome, there should be more of us in the world." So it's pretty obvious when someone is talking about a person versus an animal. If it's in a list of potential names, calling Millie the dream name is a bit of a stretch. Also, Millie is super common and nothing stops them from naming their daughter Millie. How much is this kid even going to be around this cat? How is this even an issue at all? The cat already had this name, why change it? Your cousin isn't thinking about this with a clear head. Two beings can have the same name, and the universe will not implode. Keep your cat's name. My uncle thinks it's funny to get me to run back and forth between the pool and the kitchen, getting him drinks. He will say he wants a Coke, then claim he asked for a beer, then ask where his Coke is. He usually blames it on us damn millennials, always being on our phones and not paying attention. For whatever reason, my parents don't tell him to screw off. It started getting old a long time ago, and I usually dealt with it by making myself scarce when he was over. He was visiting over Memorial Day and he caught me. He asked for a Coke, so I brought him a Coke. Then he said he'd asked for a beer, so I pulled out my phone and played the video I'd recorded of him asking for a Coke. Like most of us damn millennials, I was on my phone when he asked and I knew what was coming, so I recorded his request. He asked me for a beer because that's what he really wanted, so I told him I would be happy to get him a beer after he finished his drink because, unlike his boomer generation, I don't waste stuff for the fun of it. He got huffy because he was just joking around. The next time he asked me for a drink, my phone was in my pocket, so I pulled it out and said I didn't remember what he asked for. Could he please repeat himself? He said he'd just get his own drinks. I told him that was a great idea. My parents think I was a jerk being rude to a guest, and my elder. I thought I was just making sure he got what he asked for. Am I the idiot? Not the idiot. Your uncle sounds insufferable. He enjoys having a joke at someone else's expense, but you played him at his own game and won. Nice one, OP. However, I would have stopped bringing him drinks after so many similar incidents. The fact that he got annoyed when you proved him wrong with the recordings just shows how much of an idiot he is in this situation. Some folks have weird ideas of what is funny, cute, or entertaining, when what they are, especially family, are rude, boring, and irritating. The family especially knows how to push our buttons. Of course they do. They installed them. $50 on OP being a woman. As a Latino person, my first thought was, tell me you're a girl from a Hispanic family without telling me you're from a Hispanic family. OP, depending on the house's layout, you could head towards the drinks, then just go elsewhere and do something else. If he comes looking for his drink, insist he never asked you for anything. What will he do? Say you're being an idiot child? He can get his own drinks.